But my
That is
roommate
a
is
handsome devil.
bringing in a mouse trap with a mouse on it. We got a mouse problem at the Dewey house right now. What's going on, everybody? Big week, Texas Hate Week, all week with the horns down, baby. But more than that, we got a lot of good college football talk for you. We got some USC, Colorado, Notre Dame, Duke. We're gonna be talking about Georgia struggling a little bit, our teams to watch, our teams on fraud alert, and then the stuff y'all want to hear. OU Texas, baby. Boys, how's it going?
I'm just super nervous about being able to stay focused on this podcast instead of looking at Willie J's nasty mustache.
That thing is
Hey,
nasty.
now I
It's
will say
filthy.
I went to Norman this weekend and chicks dig it up there. So I think I'm gonna stick with it, man.
Hey, you might be onto something, man. I feel a little left out. I'm the only one here that can't grow any good facial hair, man. Tate's got
Hey,
the full beard
get some
going.
just for men and just put it right
Is
underneath
that
your
is
nose.
that the trick? Do you dye the mustache, Will?
Man, I don't,
All
but
right, all
I
right.
can't grow a
Look,
beard though. So Tate's got me beat there.
yeah, well, look, I can't grow any of it. I just grow this nasty chin hair, but we got to keep that trimmed up. You know how it goes. But well, let's get into it. So USC Colorado, that was one that you know USC had a big fat lead going into the second half, and in classic Lincoln Riley fashion, that one gets real tight there at the end. So give me some of y'all's thoughts
Yeah.
on how that game played
Is
out.
well, first off, is anyone surprised at the ending of that game?
OU fans aren't.
Like, raise your hand if you're surprised at watching Lincoln Riley squander a second half lead and just making fans' buttholes pucker up.
Right, right.
It's just way too close to home. I'm still not over it. Like my butthole still puckered, even though I hate USC. Like it's just not ideal.
Yeah, for sure. No, and
And
Will, you talked about last time you said that this USC team is like a spitting image of those OU teams.
oh yeah, 100%. And like I don't know if y'all saw on Twitter, I don't know who posted it. It was during the press conference, and Lincoln Riley said that he's not worried about Alex Grinch and their defense. And you can see, if you pause, it, you can see Caleb Williams in the background, like just side eyeing him because he knows he's full of crap.
Right. It's we're really close. How many times do we hear that as Sooner fans?
Yeah,
So here's some stats from that game. And Lincoln Riley, he's a guy, obviously a great offensive mind, but doesn't do a great job about protecting his defenses, and especially when he's got a really bad defense. So I
Apparently he doesn't
stole
protect
these
his apparently he doesn't protect his own house either because
right
got
because
broken into several times in Norman,
right those
Oklahoma.
those black SUVs driving around his house, which were all
Yeah.
all false claims. There was no police report about that, but we digress. But I stole these facts straight from Joel Klatt. So shout out Joel Klatt. You're never gonna watch this, but USC only took 2 snaps in the whole second half with the play clock under 5 seconds. The USC defense is 60th in points per game and 103rd in total yards per game, which is out of 130 teams, I believe. And they've got a tough schedule coming up ahead. They play Utah, they play Washington, they go to Notre Dame, and they go to Oregon. So it could be pretty tough sledding for them boys out in Southern California coming up. So let's talk a little bit more about that, about what y'all saw from that game. And we this is a subject we know a lot about, these Lincoln Riley high powered offense and bad defenses.
Well, it's sad because we've seen Lincoln Riley squander so much offensive talent through the years at Oklahoma, and Caleb Williams very well might be the most talented quarterback that Lincoln Riley's
Right.
had. And in this next 4 or 5 weeks, where they're playing all these guys, like they might not win a Pac-12 title with Caleb Williams. Like he won a Heisman last year, but they didn't win the Pac-12 last year, and I don't think that they're going to win it this year. And so it's just crazy. You look back on it with, Bob Stoops gifting Lincoln Riley that Baker Mayfield squad, and then having Kyler Murray, and then having Jalen Hurts, and you see what they're doing in the league. And then you have Spencer Rattler, who, is still starting at an SEC school, and then Caleb Williams. And it's like the amount of talent that man has just allowed to go to the wayside and not produce any meaningful, results of championships or anything like that is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up what Tate said directly about Caleb. I think personally he's already a lock on the Heisman. That's just I don't think it'll be even close. I think he'll go back to back. I mean, it doesn't even pain me to say that anymore, just because you're a 20-year-old kid and you get offered millions of dollars to go to Southern California. I mean, I don't know any 20-year-old kids that are going to say no to that.
Right.
So, but yeah, their defense between both teams, Colorado and USC, was non-existent. I don't think they know what that word means. Now, I think Shadur Sanders, though, I think he is elite. I would put him in elite just because, which I don't know, Tate, if you watched last week, I have a ton of hot takes, so I could be completely out of my mind. I have no idea.
Well, that's better than Colin just riding the fence. So we got Willie hot takes and Colin fence up the butt.
We balance each other out.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I think
let me just call you on your first hot take of Caleb Williams just running away with the Heisman.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a couple of guys that might have something to say about that, like Michael Penix Jr. already eclipsing over 2,000 yards and 18 total touchdowns. Like, guy might have, and do they play each other? They play each other, right?
Yeah, they play. That's a home game for them versus Washington coming up in a few weeks.
So that game might have huge depiction in the Heisman race. So
okay,
Willie Hot Takes is off to a cold start.
I just think USC's they haven't lost yet, have they?
No, they're 5-0.
And what was how far did they make it last year before they got beat?
Well, they got beaten against Utah, which was maybe week 8 or 9.
Okay.
No, it's the Pac-12 champion. Well,
they got beat twice by now.
Yeah, they got beat by Utah in the Pac-12 championship. Because if they would have won that, they would have went to the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
but then they lost to Tulane.
Oh yeah. That was a great game though. I love that.
It really was
classic Lincoln Riley. And shout out Mario Williams for muffing that.
Yeah, right.
But I think USC's season is going to go exactly how it went last year. They're going to be so close, but it's going to be a typical Lincoln Riley season again. I sound like a typical OU fan, but I kind of know sports, and I know that the way he addresses himself probably as a coach. Now, I never played for the man, but I feel like he's all about himself, and so they're going to keep doing the same thing they keep doing.
See, Will, I don't even think they're going to make it to the Pac-12 championship. I think Oregon's better than them. I think that Washington is better than them. So I think coming up, I think they'll probably handle Utah. Them losing to Oregon State kind of makes me wonder where they're at, but we really haven't seen them without Cam Rising. So I think they'll lose to Washington. I think they'll lose to Notre Dame, and I think they'll lose to Oregon. So there you go. There's me not riding the fence, Tate. There's me throwing out some takes. I think they'll be 9-3. So I don't even think they play for the Pac-12 championship.
Okay. Well, do you think he's going to go coach the Cowboys within the next 5 years, though? Okay.
I don't know. I can't speak on that one, but I hope not. Golly.
He's just going to go follow Caleb Williams wherever he gets drafted.
Yeah, he'll be the next coach of the Chicago Bears.
I would 100% take a Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley over a Dak Prescott and a Mike McCarthy. And so would my grandma.
Grandma Debbie. Shout out Grandma Debbie. Well, y'all got any more thoughts on that game?
I mean, not really. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tate. You got it.
I was just going to say it's really nothing else to share because we've just seen it for 5 years.
Right.
There's fans that would probably have a lot more to say about it, but it's just for OU fans, it's just beating a dead horse.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
Yeah. Now, on the other side, I think we've talked enough about Lincoln Riley and the USC frauds, but I think Colorado within this year, which they already have 2 losses.
They're 3-2.
Okay, yeah, I think this year it's over for them. Obviously, I think, but I think within the next 2 to 3 years, I think that they're going to be elite once Dion gets his guys. I think they're going to be really good for a long time.
Yeah, I do think that they will be good. I'm not sure how long that'll take or to what level they'll get to, but I mean, they've already
You know,
shown
it's
improvement one off season. So go ahead.
it's a very interesting. I'm making a sign for Will. Hold on.
I need to get me one of those.
That's fine. We can put that on a shirt. Start selling some merch.
There you go. You know what I think is a very interesting like proposition for the whole. We're talking USC and Colorado, and you like I still call him Tebow. Lincoln Riley, man, he's like lived in the transfer portal, right? Like
Mhm.
he's been stocking his teams up with the transfer portal. Well, it's an interesting thing now of who are recruits or who are transfer portals going to go to? Are they going to go to USC where the national like headline is that they don't play defense, they can score a lot of points, but they don't play defense and they lose these close physical games? Or are they going to go to Colorado now, which is literally same, area, same like they're going to be recruiting the same type of guys? Are you going to go play for Prime or are you going to go play for Lincoln Riley? So like I just feel like that's something to bring up where give it a couple of years and those guys are going to go choose to play at Colorado and not USC, and it's like where does that leave Lincoln Riley? Which going back to Will's hot take of last week of him going to the NFL, that could 100% be something where he's like, we're not getting the guys that we used to in the portal. I'm out, because he's always taken that path of least resistance, or when the time gets tough, he's going to go be a Tebow. So,
Right. And with conference realignment and, Colorado going to the Big 12, USC going to the Big 10, that changes their recruiting base too. So that'll be interesting to watch play out because now they've got two different regions that, they weren't recruiting before that maybe they are now, or that they did recruit before and now they're not anymore, in USC's case, going that far up north. So
does it hurt or help a recruiting pitch of, hey, we're in the Big 10 now? But think about like those parents that are like, do I really want my kid going into the Big 10 where I'm going to have to travel to Penn State, to
exactly.
Michigan State, and we live in Southern California? Like that's wild to think about. Like I know that kind of stuff isn't like the ultimate deciding factor, but it has to play some type of a role.
No, I definitely agree. And I think that hurts teams like USC. That's just my personal opinion. You saw it happen to Nebraska a little bit. Their Texas recruiting base pretty much went away when they went to the Big Ten. You see where they are at now. So, not saying that's going to happen to USC, but and I also wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. What Nebraska's going through. But shout out Curtings. Y'all stay strong. But
I
Will,
might wish it on my worst enemy.
yeah, you're a little heartless though. Will, you got any
That's
final
true.
thoughts on that game?
Nope.
No more
Not
hot takes
any
for us.
not hot take. Actually though, speaking of hot takes, I'll see if I can get it to show. So I was at Polo's yesterday, right?
Oh gosh.
Best Mexican this is another hot take. Best Mexican food in Ada.
No, not even close.
No, anyways, I don't know if y'all can see this little you see that little dark mark right there?
Okay.
Dude, I burned myself on a plate. So I feel like it's fitting. I have a tattoo scar / deal now.
I worked at Polo's, right?
Did you? Hey, I heard he will not say this, but I've heard he's not the best to work for. I heard he is a hateful man.
He's well. I mean, the guy barely speaks English, and he's lived in Ada for like 42 years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's on him. Hey, now I will say,
That's
last
like,
time
it,
I was there with my whole family, mariachi band was in there, dude, on the patio, and they were
oh,
in my ear, and I didn't enjoy it, but my family
well,
did.
they thought you were one of them with your little
They
Pepe
probably did,
mustache.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you, didn't you get recruited to the Polo soccer team to play goalie one year?
I did. They're like, look at this tall gringo that looks somewhat athletic, and guess what? I was the best freaking goalie in the league.
Represent. Somebody's got to represent the white boys when it comes to the soccer pitch.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
That's funny. But
Shout out Polos.
Will, that's your worst take you've had so far. Yeah, shout out Polos, but They're not even
Hey,
close to the best Mexican restaurant in Ada.
they're not close to the best Mexican food in Ada, but their freaking quesadillas are
Bomb, bro.
smacking,
Yes,
dude.
absolutely. And
All right.
I don't know what's in their salsa. We're getting so
Crack.
off topic right here, but this is what we're talking about. I'm pretty sure it's tomato sauce.
It's
They
just
dump
tomato
it out of a
paste,
thing.
bro.
But it is the best tomato paste I've ever had.
You're
They can
ridiculous,
sell
bro.
their queso for $8. I don't care. I just want that tomato sauce and quesadillas.
Willie, you trying to get like an NIL deal with Polos right now or something?
No.
So Notre Dame Duke. Sam Hartman, that last drive, 4th and 16, scrambles out, picks up the first down. Just a super gritty performance from them. Notre Dame's defense has been impressive throughout 5 games now. Even the game they lost to Ohio State, it was a 1-score affair. Give me some of y'all's thoughts on that game and on, Duke's not a bad team. They're top 25, and they went to Duke's place and came out with a ranked win against them. So I think even with the loss to Ohio State, they could still be a future CFP team to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, they definitely have the schedule to do it. They need to take care of business. I mean, with USC, and have they already played Clemson or no? I can't
No, I don't
remember.
think
I
so.
think, do they play them? Anyway, they have quite the schedule. Um, that game was pretty crazy. I got a feel for the Dookie fans because they literally had that game wrapped up.
Yeah.
Literally pinned them on the 5-yard line with like a minute and 50 seconds left. And literally within a minute and 50 seconds, they lost the game, lost their quarterback, and like I just felt so bad for them.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway is I just felt for the Duke fans because they played such a heck of a game, and then they lose the game and their quarterback gets carried off. It's
All
just
right.
like not
Yeah.
good.
And then, Sam Hartman goes over to the sideline after the game to go check on him. So I thought that was pretty cool. But my
That is
roommate
a
is
handsome devil.
bringing in a mouse trap with a mouse on it. We got a mouse problem at the Dewey house right now. Good looks, man.
We are not giving Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, a good rep right now.
No,
We
we're
got
not.
we got Will talking about cracked tomato hot sauce. We got rat traps coming in from our roommates.
Yeah.
Get it together, boys.
I'm sorry, man. We know you moved off to Texas. We're supposed to be holding it down.
That's the typical college life, man. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
because you're grown now, Tate.
Right.
You were here once, okay? We were just kids and we didn't know what a podcast was. So
Thank you, Will.
anyways, so
Who
I was
invited
cut.
this crackhead on our podcast?
Hey, the fans love him, man. He's a
I
fan
know,
favorite.
man. The fans being my mom and dad. They absolutely
Hey,
they're
shout out
digging it, man.
Crystal.
Shout out Crystal and Brett.
But
We got
I'll keep the summary on that game short. I did actually watch it. Yeah, it was a good game, but Duke's irrelevant. And Notre Dame, this is just okay. You can just keep it up. Just pull it up one more time. In my eyes, Notre Dame is known for 2 things. Okay, actually 3 things. First one is Rudy. Second thing is Manti Te'o and the little scandal thing. Have y'all seen the documentary on that one? That's crazy, right? And then the last thing, they look like a solid football team for the first couple weeks, but then they haven't won since. Hold on, I pulled it up earlier because I wanted to touch base on this. They haven't won a national championship since 1988. Tate wasn't even born then. Tate's dad, I think. That's absurd. Okay, I mean, there's nothing else. I would rather watch paint dry than watch Notre Dame play football.
Wow, man. That was quite the rant. I think some of
I take scorching hot, man. I'm sweating. I'll take this hoodie off.
I'll give it to you
Colin.
though.
Colin? What's more absurd? Will's pronunciation of Manti Te'o with his accent, or, or
Hey,
just the hot take in general?
look, Will didn't used to talk like that. It wasn't until he moved to Roth when he thought
Rough, Oklahoma,
he had to
dadgummit,
get
man.
real hick
Hey,
on us.
until you'd see a horse in a buggy, you can't talk like this unless you've seen a horse in a buggy going down the street or somebody on a mower.
You get a lot of that out there out in Podunk, Oklahoma. But
I need to move the city.
I see I see some logic in his takes. Definitely the 1988 since they won a championship, but
We better be
honestly,
careful with that take because we're not much better.
yeah, we're not much. We're 12 years removed from that, but the Manti
2001.
Te'o thing and the looking good for part of the year, which I'll give that one to you. They do look good for a lot of the year, and then they kind of fall off. So it's yet to be seen what they'll finish like, but they already have had a pretty tough schedule as far as ranked opponents, and they held their own against Ohio State. Probably should have won that game if they put 11 guys out on the field, and then they get a gritty win against Duke. So I do think this Notre Dame team's a little different. But who's to say? Who's to say that we're right and Will's wrong? Maybe they do just completely fall off the face of the earth at the end of the year.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Is me and Colin probably have like two of a soft spot for Notre Dame because of our Papa
Right.
Jim. So
Yeah.
like
That's fair enough.
Will might actually be seeing it clearer than us fighting Irish with the O'Grady clan.
Right. No, but I think I think the USC will be the USC game. They got them at home. That'll be another good test for them. It'll be a good test for both teams. I'm excited to watch that one. So we'll just see how it plays out. But I mean, so
Well,
far,
Will's not allowed to watch that one because he said he'd rather watch paint dry than watch Notre
right.
Dame play.
So while we're watching USC Notre Dame, you can watch paint dry.
Hey, I'll go ahead and predict the score to that one. It'll be. I'm gonna say it's you mark the date too, and when I get this one right, one of y'all can cash at me about $10. I'll go Notre Dame 42-38.
42-38. All right. I mean, that's a pretty good Lincoln Riley score there. I'm not gonna lie.
Notre Dame's defense might have something to say about
Yeah,
that.
Hold on.
I think it
How
might be
late
a
in the
little
season
lower.
is it played?
Oh, I couldn't give you a good answer. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, I think. Probably week
Okay,
8 or
so
Nope.
9.
it'll be
You already
before they
logged your
decide to
nope.
turn into a
You
intermediate
made
Pee
your
Wee
take.
football team.
You made your take
You
already.
made a take. I already wrote it down, so we'll revisit this.
Okay, that'll work.
All right. Well, Will, I appreciate the passion about that segment of the show. Here's one you might be a little passionate about as well, is what is going on with the Georgia Bulldogs, defending national champs. I got some stats for you here. They have been rushing the ball at 3.6 yards per carry, which is more than a yard less than what they have been in previous years. In past years, it was like 5 point something a carry. So that is obviously glaring. Their point differential in the first quarter of games is exactly 0. And this is probably the worst defense they've had in the past 3 years. So, didn't look good against South Carolina for a while, and then almost get beat by an unranked Auburn team who's absolutely terrible. Sorry to my Auburn friends out there, but it's true. So y'all give me y'all's thoughts on what's going on with the dogs.
What
Anybody
you
can
got, Willie?
start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Well, I will say it's kind of obvious that they're not the same team that they've been. I mean, it's kind of clear to see that. Well, because mainly they don't have what's his name, the 40-year-old Stetson Bennett. They don't have him no more. So like they don't have a leader really. But I I really I did all my research except that game, Colin. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have absolutely no idea what happened. But I just think that, right now in the SEC, unless I'm missing somebody, I mean, LSU's a decent team. There's really not like just a dominant team. So I think, especially with us making that transfer next year, us in Texas, I think the pace we're at the pace that they're at, I think honestly, we'll be there with them. So, okay. I don't think that one deserves a hot take. I really
That's
don't.
a warm take. No, I
Okay.
agree. I think with the trajectories, if we continue to see OU improve and then their recruiting classes they've been having, and then if you see Georgia keep progressing like they are, it could definitely be a thing where OU's on the same level as them or even better. So
We got to
hey,
pump the brakes on that a little bit because we're just coming off a 6-7 season. So
but
let's not
that
act
was
like
last
we've
That's a
been
that was
setting
fluke,
the
last
man.
world on fire.
that was last season, Tate. We're the number
I
three
mean,
scoring offense and defense in the country. Come at us, bro.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
What if we dominate Texas this week? Will your take be a little different?
Yeah, I've told Colin since the start of us filming this season that I'm not getting excited or anything until after this first weekend in October, and Colin can vouch for me on that.
That has been his stance. Well, give
So
us your
I mean,
thoughts. Give us your thoughts on Georgia.
my thoughts on Georgia is I agree that Stetson Bennett was a leader at quarterback, and they're missing that right now with a first-year quarterback. And then you also have to understand that those dudes have lost about 15 first or second round defensive players in the past 2 years, and that is hard to replace. Hard to replace like 15 your entire defense 2 years in a row.
Right.
So I mean, you talk about recruiting classes. Well, they've brought in the number one or number two recruiting class for the past 3 or 4 years. So the talent's not going anywhere. I think the development hasn't gone anywhere. The only problem that they have is reckless driving and just blazing through Athens, Georgia, at a
Yikes.
nonstop pace.
All gas, no brakes, as you like to say.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I
good.
think that this year is definitely, we talked about this on episode 1, where this is a super exciting year in college football. The Pac-12's lit. Like OU and Texas have been playing well. There's a couple teams in the Big Ten. Georgia nor Alabama are just like flat out killing everybody. Like it is 100% up for grabs. Like if I had to put money on who's going to win it this year, like I'd really have to sit down and think about it. And that's when college football's at its best. So I'm actually excited that Georgia has been showing some struggles. I hope that like they got a huge test this weekend against 5-0 Kentucky, who just literally manhandled. Golly, who they play?
Right?
Florida.
Florida.
They absolutely manhandled Florida this past week. So I think Georgia, it's going to be a super good game there.
Right.
But that's my take on Georgia. Is I think they just need a little OU. There was like a Dylan Gabriel coming in, so first year in the system at OU, then all kinds of new defensive people and new schemes and stuff like that. Like that might not be a new scheme in Georgia, but they have all kinds of new players. So I think that they'll be back to really, really good football team in the next, year or two, especially as their quarterback gets more experience. But that's my take on them.
It's a fairly good take, I would say. We'll still standing behind they're no good. Georgia's done.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, they're gonna make the playoff, but perhaps.
You think?
Perhaps. Sorry, I'm gonna chill out on the hot takes for a little bit. They may have a chance at the final, at the thing. I don't know. And I just didn't watch it, man. It was a crazy weekend to say the least. I didn't have a lot of time to sit down and focus on something other than the OU game. So
Fair enough. All right, well, we can switch gears a little bit, and y'all can give me y'all's, just a couple teams, and I'll give you mine. But what are some teams to watch this year that have been impressing you and you think are going to maybe some dark horse teams or maybe some teams that have just been, flat out dominant that you think are going to continue that as the year goes on?
I'll go first.
You got it.
Yeah, my dark horse, and I don't necessarily even think they're a dark horse. I just don't think anybody's talking about them, is Penn State. Like those dudes I think they're number 7 in the country, so it's not like they're being completely slept on. But like, how many times have you heard about Penn State this year?
Right.
Like you really haven't. And like James Franklin has that team playing really tough physical football. They have another talented running back there. They run the ball really well. Defense is playing super well. So that's one I'll be super interested to see down the stretch when they start playing the Michigans and Ohio States and Wisconsin and stuff like that. Whenever that Big Ten tends to get more and more physical as the weather gets colder and colder. So excited to see them. So give me Penn State.
I think that's a good team to watch. Will, what about you?
Two that have really, impressed me. Well, I say two. I'll give it a 1.5. Oregon for sure. Texas for sure. But it pains me to say this, especially on this week. But they've been a really good team.
Kick him off, Colin. Get him out. Get him out.
Wait, y'all can't say that's a hot take though. Hey,
Not
the other
this
day,
week.
Colin.
Not this
Okay,
week.
all right.
Texas
I'll
sucks
talk about
all
that
week.
next
Show them, Tate.
Fuck Texas.
Hey, and then the final one, I'll go with I like Utah a lot just because they're about to get.
Even after coming off a loss.
Yeah, I still do. But Cam Rising's a dog, man. And
I
I will
agree.
say that because I won't see him in a bar next week, and I won't have to go back on saying that he's a dog, man. I love Cam Rising. Is that his uncle actually, um, by I think it's over there by Ada High School because my aunt and uncle live over there. His uncle lives there.
Very cool. I did not know that.
Well, he like wanted to go to OU and Lincoln. I don't know. He might have even committed. And Lincoln Riley. Oh, who's this?
It's my roommate.
Get out of here. Well,
Hey,
now I just got to invite Kaylee in because
Yeah,
every
invite the baby in.
yeah, well, she's asleep, but
Uh,
apparently roommates and anybody else can come in. So let me
nice.
just
Hey, security here
no.
not great. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
No, he was supposed to Cam Rising. I don't remember if he committed to OU or he like wanted to, and like Lincoln Riley did something or like went back on his word, and so he like that's why like he took it so personal with them beating USC and Lincoln Riley last year twice. If you didn't know that backstory.
Did not know that. I just know his dog.
also, if you didn't know the backstory on Will not having to worry about calling Cam Rising a dog, because last week on the pod he was just gushing about Danny Stutzman, and then
I'll
runs
tell my
it.
story in a minute.
All right, we'll save it for later. But so my teams to watch, I've got which this number 2 team in the country, Michigan. They've been really good. That defense is, what it is. Will's a little preoccupied at the moment.
Sorry,
Will's
I up my security. I locked my door.
Will's got a drug deal. He's got to go sell
Yeah,
with his beanie on, his
they're
beanie and
tweaking.
mustache.
They're ready. They're ready to get their hit, dude. But
What do you want? How much do you want?
but
All right, Colin, give us your.
Michigan has been really good. They don't do anything flashy. They win the line of scrimmage. They run
They
the
just
ball
rock
well.
cargo pants on the sideline.
Right. And he hasn't even been on the sideline, so when he comes back, just imagine how much better that whole
I think he's been
thing
back
will be.
the past
Has
2
he been?
weeks.
Oh.
I think
But
he's had
I
a
know
3-game suspension.
I know Nebraska I'm pretty sure they had the number 1 rushing defense in the country, like 1.6 yards per carry. And Michigan went ahead and rushed for like 5 yards a carry against Nebraska and beat them like 45-0. So I think Michigan
Yeah,
is for
Michigan
real.
has the number 1 scoring defense.
Yeah. So they've been really impressive. Washington, I've been on the Washington bandwagon all year long. I think they'll continue to play good. They got good receivers. Michael Penix Jr. is a beast. I think he could give Caleb a run for his money in the Heisman race. And Washington
Not
State,
according to Will.
no, not according to Will, it's a lock. But Washington State is ranked number 13, so they're quietly climbing up. They haven't really played anybody, but
They played Oregon State. They beat
that's
Oregon
true.
State.
And then Oregon State just beat Utah. So keep an eye out on Washington State. And then, of course, my Sooners are a team to watch. Number 3 scoring defense, number 3 scoring offense, number 12 team in the country. So that's who I got for mine, teams to watch. But
Yeah, there's Collins riding the fence as he picks 4 or 5 teams to watch.
look, it's teams with an S. You can read it off the notes. Teams with an S, not team to watch. So, but here, let's talk about some teams we're gonna put on fraud alert. Will, let's start with you, then we'll go to Tate.
Well, I'm gonna revert to what I said last week. Florida State frauds. To follow up the tag I had today, Notre Dame, not yet. They look good right now. Around week 8 or 9, frauds.
I'm sorry, are you saying frauds or frogs?
Frauds. Frauds. Fraud. Let's see. I want one more. I want one more good one. I want one that'll irritate Tate. Irritate Tate. Let's see here.
Just say that a couple more times and
Yeah,
it'll do the trick.
I think just the sound of your voice irritates all of us.
The accent. I don't know. I'm gonna have to back away from the mic or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't know. I'll stick with those 2.
Man, that's a good question. I didn't realize we were going to talk about that, even though you sent me the outline, and that's on me. Let's see. I think. How about I'll talk about the biggest fraud of this season, going back to the preseason hype, and it's freaking Texas Tech. Those
Yeah.
those dudes are getting so much love that they were going to be the Big 12 champs, and they were going to send OU and Texas out the right way. And the Big 12 commissioner was there, and he's like, "Hey, that last week, wreck 'em Tech or whatever," and
Right.
like they go out and it just been booty. So Texas Tech fraud,
No,
big time frauds.
I think that's a great pick. So I mean, they're already confirmed frauds. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that one.
I'll
But
try and think of someone else as you go.
okay, well, who I've got on my fraud alert, which you could argue they already are right now, but I've got LSU after getting stomped by Florida State, and then they stayed in the top 25, and then went ahead and lost to Ole Miss last week. So they're definitely on my fraud alert. Maybe not there yet, but well on their way. And then I put Tennessee because they got beat by Florida, and then Florida just got beat and got knocked out of the top 25. So for me, I got two SEC teams. It just means more, man. We're about to find out. That's our conference. But frauds,
Hey,
LSU and
did you
Tennessee.
did you see? I saw on like my OU message board that like the Big 12's Twitter is still like claiming OU in Texas, and it's like OU Texas power ranking, and then the SEC has the SEC
All
power
right.
ranking, and it has OU Texas at the top.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if this isn't the epitome of college football right now, where two conferences are claiming two teams,
Yeah,
I just thought that was funny.
that's why you gotta love it. Gotta love college football. Well, before we move on, did y'all think of any other teams y'all want to put on fraud alert? Will, I'm surprised you didn't have any crazy hot takes with this one.
I'll
No,
put
I
a
mean, I would
frog.
disagree with you as far as Notre Dame. I would put them on my teams to watch, not my fraud alert. But
you're
How about
biased.
my frog alert of the TCU Horned Frogs? There you go, Will.
frog alert,
Frog
they have
alert.
been booty cheeks. So maybe
Wait,
frog alert is like a different category of
well,
teams that have just
would OSU would that even be a fraud anymore? Or they just I mean they're just
they're
that's the
They're
saddest thing I've ever seen.
that's pretty
yeah,
sad.
they're
And
in
like
that frog category.
it makes me feel like great because we have a lot of friends that are OSU fans.
Yeah,
Like they are they're almost obnoxious. I think they're honestly more obnoxious than Texas fans. But
I
Well,
would
that's
have to
because you live
agree.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
That's because y'all live in Oklahoma.
Tate's having to deal with it in the Lone Star State, but no, I totally get where you're coming from, Will. But I mean, Tate would probably argue us on that one.
No,
But
because I've lived on both sides. I've lived in Oklahoma and dealt with the
were you
OSU
literally
fans.
married into one of their families?
Yeah, and then
whoa,
my father-in-law is a huge Texas fan, and then my
Whoa,
brother-in-law, they live in
Texas
Austin.
fan.
okay, let me ask this then. So, you have all these aspects in a woman of what you want, but when it came to marrying her, did that ever did I know, don't lie. She can watch it, she can get mad, but when you knew her dad was a Texas fan, did that put any hesitation on asking her to marry you?
No, no.
Tate,
Here's why.
Tate, Tate. But come
Because no,
on.
listen, no, listen. We met like July, and like that August, I took her to her first OU game, and afterwards she put like it was week one, and it was when OU beat the brakes off someone, and I don't remember. Texas lost to week one, and she posted on her Instagram and was like, "Sorry, Dad. After this week, like I got to be a OU Boomer Sooner all the way or something like that." And I was like, "That's all I need to know." And to be honest, she could not care less
Yeah.
about college football and sports. I
Right.
literally want to bring her on here because she would probably just have some like hilarious takes of just being like, "Y'all are freaking crazy."
Yeah. But
I
it's
could
we
bring
don't
her
we don't
on. Like,
choose.
Did you watch the New Heights podcast whenever
He brought his
Travis?
wife on.
Yeah, Jason brought his wife on, and Travis just sat there and asked him all these questions. We could do one of those since y'all
Yeah.
are young college boys looking for the right woman.
Well, here's the thing Kaylee needs to understand is we don't choose this lifestyle to be college football fanatics. It chooses us. So
That's right.
there's nothing we can do about it.
That's right.
All right. Well, is there anything else that y'all wanna get off your chest as far as college football goes?
Are we going to talk about this week?
What do you mean? Talk about
The
OU
OU
Texas?
game. Yeah, because
Oh
All
that
yeah,
right,
does
yeah.
here.
fall.
You think
No,
we're
I mean
gonna
that
do it without it?
he
in all caps.
listen. He just said, "Is there anything else you want to talk about in
Before we
college
move on,
football?"
before we move on to OU
I was like,
Texas.
"Whoa."
Okay. My apologies. Anything as far as college football, excluding the Red River rivalry, that you want to
I am ready for. I mean, this has to do with college football. I cannot wait until college football drops.
the video game?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't wait.
Yeah. No, that's something we've been looking forward for a long time. So
Absolutely.
great take, Wilson. Thank you for that.
Yeah, bad. Put that sign down, Tate. Just rip it up, throw it away.
Wilson.
All right. What we've all been waiting for. It's Texas Hate Week. Horns down all week. Beat Texas. This is like the most important OU Texas game since 2008. This is going to have playoff implications. They're, two top 15 teams coming in undefeated, both teams for the first time in I don't know how many years.
Since
So
2011, I'm pretty sure.
2011. So we got a good one coming up, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts first before we get into it.
Well, let me get this thing kicked off with I am sick. I texted Colin this earlier. I don't know if I've wanted an OU Texas game more than I've wanted this one in a very, very long time. Like these freaking Shorthorn fans acting like we haven't ran this dang freaking conference since its existence because we had a freaking down year last year. And then the game before we play him, our QB1 gets concussed to hell and back and doesn't get to play. And so they beat the drums off us. And I'm like, I will 100% say, y'all beat the drums off of us last year. But no QB1. It was a rebuild year, new system, new players. And oh my gosh, I want this one so badly. I also brought
Yeah,
up to Colin that it's funny when you talk to Texas fans about the 2009 championship when they lost to Bama and they literally like, well, Colt McCoy got knocked out in the first quarter, and I'm like, so you're saying that having a backup quarterback in the game actually has an implication on how the game turns out? That's crazy. But if you say that to them about last year, no, we won 49-0.
dude, I know for a fact that you and your father-in-law, y'all's arguments are insane.
It's more my brother-in-law actually. My
Okay.
father-in-law is a great guy. The
Okay.
brother-in-law, he knows his stuff, and so we can go at it. But man, some of those takes, I'm just like, brother, listen to me. Ugh, I want it bad, guys. You don't understand. I don't want it. I need it.
Yeah, I think all of Sooner Nation needs it, especially after what happened last year. But here's the thing: is I think there's a good chance we get it. You can call me crazy, you can give me hate. I know on the baseball team, I'm already getting hate every day at practice. I'm in my own state, and I gotta fight for my life every single day because we got guys from California and Florida and Texas and Montana playing for us. But I think there's a chance we go out and get it this year because you know both offenses. I think Jeff Levy's going to throw a ton of wrinkles into the game plan. And last week we kick a field goal or we miss a field goal, we punt and we throw an interception. Other than that, we scored every single possession against a historically good Iowa State defense. So I think the offense is starting to get some rhythm and starting to roll. I think we continue that this week. And there's not much else that needs to be said about the defense that we haven't already said. They're much improved. So it's just going to be come down to who wants it more, who's ready to execute. I think we get it done Saturday. I truly do. I hope we do. God, I hope we do.
So I y'all are two passionate fans, man. And so like I mean, I like to say I am too, but at the same time, like I don't know if you know Colin Tate, you may if you've ever talked to Kevin Wilson, my uncle, he is the most like negative guy when it comes to any sports, but he's so real. And so I'm gonna have to take his perception on this one. And it pains me to say, but I don't want to anytime I expect anything from a sports team that I'm rooting for, opposite happens. So I'm just gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen yet. I think we'll go undefeated after this, and then we'll beat them in the Big 12 championship. But I think they're gonna beat us by a touchdown, maybe 10, 14 at the absolute most. But I think it'll be a back and forth game. But our defense is looking really good. Our offense is looking really, really good as well. But like I said earlier, as much as it pains me to say it, even though it is this week, I mean, I've got to be real. Texas looks really good.
No, I'm with you. I was telling someone today, one of the teachers at my school was asking me what I thought, and I honestly was like, look, after last year, I literally just want to see improvement of the physicality in this game because that's why OU got their freaking ass whooped last year is because the physicality just was not there. And so I was like, I honestly like, yes, do I want it? Absolutely, but like as long as I see them making just complete 180 on the physicality standpoint of the game, I'm actually going to be content. But I'm with Will too. Like I always feel like this is why I told Colin like I'm not going to say anything until after the first weekend in October because I don't know what this OU team is yet until after we face Texas. So like I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. So like I don't want to say too much, but because it always feels like oh if I go in too cocky or arrogant, like no we're gonna. I'm like I hate being that way. So I'm
Right.
gonna humbly go into this and hopefully optimistic.
Yeah, and this is the Texas team that they've been waiting for. I don't know how many offseason national championships Texas have. They're like 10-time repeating champs back to back to back to back, but this is finally the team where it's starting to come together and they look really good. So it's definitely going to be a test, but anything can happen in that game as we know. So we'll just have to be something we
I
wait and see.
I have a very specific. I'll go another hot take, but this one's personal and it's biased. Based on
You say
recent
did you say
stats,
did you say biased
yeah,
or
I'm biased. So
biased?
it's just the whatever,
Not
however you
Bass.
say it. Sorry, biased. But this is based on historical facts because the last person that this sort of happened to, he proceeded to have a horrible rest of the season and didn't get drafted. I'm talking about Gabe Burkich. There's a dick. Anyways, Danny Stutzman is going to have a horrible game Saturday. But our defense is going to pick up the pace, but Danny Stutzman will not play worth a darn. I'm flipping the script. I don't care. He ain't going to be worth the crap. But our defense is still gonna be pretty good.
Will, just last week you were like confessing your love
Yeah.
to this guy.
Hey, a lot can happen in a week, man.
He ran into the wrong guy, huh?
Yep.
He denied the wrong guy a picture or a video.
No, so did you tell Tate about this?
I don't think I have. Oh, Tate's gone.
Tate is gone.
All right, well, go ahead and tell the story while we get Tate back up in here.
All right. So I'll let you tell the Tate later too.
All right.
So as last week, humongous Danny Stutzman guy. Like
Right.
I mean, I was for somebody who has never met that dude one time, I was his number one fan. Well, fast forward to Saturday, I go to Norman, watch the game, have a good time. Oh, great, there he is. He's back. Do I restart? You want me to just to proceed?
You go ahead and proceed.
All right. So Saturday I go watch us kick butt. Iowa State trash. So after the game, we're at the bars or whatever, and I can't remember the place, Logie's. We're at Logie's, and it's 11:30, and I hear people start talking, and I look over and I see Danny Stutzman. I'm like, that is my guy, yo. Because Tate, I was hyping him up a lot last week, like it was horrible. Anyways, so I see him, and he's at the bar. I don't know if I hope nobody's going to see this. Nobody cares. So I'm like, I say, Danny, which I've had a little bit more than enough, but I'm Danny. He's like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Will, let me get a video for the boys." And he looks at me with like, "I'm gonna do it," and he points his finger. He goes, "No." And I was like, "What a dick," you know? Like, so I was like, "Well, what do I do now?" So I left, and that's where I'm at now. Danny Stutzman's gonna have a horrible week next week. That's all I got.
Hey, at least you don't hold grudges, man.
No, no.
No,
I mean,
that's hilarious.
after this, next time I'm going back up there when we play UCF, UFC, yeah, UCF. So I'll see him then, hopefully, and I will win part two.
Well, look, Will does not speak for the rest of us when he says he wants Danny Stetson to have a terrible rest of the year. That is Will going on his own script. So, but
You would
yeah,
think he would have respected the mustache.
right.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Had I once I calm down and get off this little soap opera I'm spilling, but I I think he's gonna be. I think he's a really cool guy though. Like he would definitely be one of the guys that I would want to hang out with. Not just because he's an OU football player. I mean, my God, I'd hang out with the punter. But I think he's a really cool guy, and I still think he's a dog on defense, but it is unfortunate that his season's going to have to turn out the way it is because I don't think he is.
Well, that is
Will's like I know he's a dog on the field, but he's a bitch off the field.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's what I told Dad. I was like, man, for somebody who's so good, I was like, dude's a dick.
Look, man. Well, I hope you meet him again, and I hope the outcome goes in your favor this time.
Dude, if he
maybe
does it again, just get in a scrum with him and it'll be just like
No, I just
legendary.
honestly like he obviously he's always going to be surrounded either by really good looking women or defensive linemen. So, I honestly thought I should just go up there and just give him a little love tap. But then I feel like it wouldn't end good, and I'd be on a headline somewhere for attacking our best defensive player. So.
You definitely don't want to get beat up in front of a bunch of good-looking women.
No,
either.
but hey, could you imagine though if something had happened next in a few weeks and they pull up this podcast, y'all would blow up. So
Hey,
I would do it for y'all.
Look, next time just take one for the team, man, and go ahead and let Danny Stutzman put you in a headlock.
Yeah, I'll walk up to him like, hey, just the camera's rolling, just put me in a headlock just real quick, just for a second.
For the content.
Yeah, for the content, for the clout.
He should understand. He hops on podcasts. He makes videos.
Well, I think doesn't him and the other dude, Jared, whatever, Kanik, I can't pronounce his last name.
Darren Kanik.
Whatever. Yeah, I thought they run podcasts on a prairie now.
I don't know if they do. I know they go on a lot, but
they do.
They do. Look at you, Will.
Hey, I don't know if y'all saw the last one though. Jared Kanik's room, I guess the dude's like a super Halloween fan. Like it was it looked like a haunted house in his room in his dorm or his house, whatever it is.
Yeah, I can't say that I saw that one. Also, can't say I'm a fan of Halloween either. But
yeah, neither am I.
Pass.
All right. Yeah,
hey, I get to scare little kids this year, so I'm looking forward to that.
But
you do that every year, Will.
Yeah, you don't even need to put a costume on.
I shave the mustache, maybe.
Yeah, just go rock that pedo stash and it'll do just fine.
Are you dressing up as a drug dealer for Halloween this year?
Am I? No, that's how I just go to work every day.
Oh, okay, because that is your job.
I don't know what I'm going to be yet, but at PEC I guess they take that serious. Then also got found out that I got signed up for a 5K to sponsor them, and I got to run it in a costume. And I haven't ran since high school.
So. For those of y'all that don't know, me and Will, we used to go trick or treating together, and I remember one year, Will showed up as like a pregnant hobo or something.
I did do that, yes.
And he got way more candy than me, so
yeah,
I was pretty salty about that. But
probably because you went as a football player for the umpteenth year in a row.
I probably dressed up as like Sam Bradford again, so I got to get more creative.
Oh man.
All right. Tate, I know you got some spreads for us, right? That's enough OU Texas talk. Enough Danny Stutzman slander from Will, hoping he has a bad game Saturday.
That's why he's so confident in that Texas is going to win, is because he literally
Right.
has
He
like
put a
a
curse on Danny Stutzman.
he has like a voodoo doll, and he like broke both of his legs.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All
Okay,
right,
so here's
Jay,
how
hit us
this
with those
here's how
spreads.
this spreads. Yeah, here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna give you the spread, and you're just gonna quickly say what your pick's gonna be. So, like for the first one, we got Bama versus A&M, and Bama's a 2.5 point favorite. So, do you have Bama with the points, or do you think A&M's gonna cover? So, like if A&M,
Loses
what is
by
that, right?
less than 2.5.
Right.
Yeah, give me
So,
Bama. Give me Bama covering the spread, winning by more than 2.5
Are we talking 2.5 points or 2.5 scores?
2.5 points, Will.
Okay. Sorry. I don't.
There are no
I
dumb
see it,
questions.
dude. I see that all the
Only
time
dumb people.
on all this crap. I have no idea what it means. So I'm gonna agree with Colin on that one for sure.
I
Okay.
don't think Texas A&M's worth anything.
No, they never are.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. Here's an interesting one we brought up. Number 1 Georgia versus number 20 Kentucky. Okay, Georgia's a 14.5 point favorite. So two touchdown plus a half a point.
Right.
So
Will, you go first.
I guess what the correct answer be, I think Kentucky covers it. Is that it?
yeah, you're saying
I don't
you're
think they're
saying
gonna. They won't score. They won't beat Kentucky by 2.5 scores.
okay.
I would have to agree with Will on that one. I think the way Kentucky's been playing and the way both teams are playing, I don't see Kentucky losing by 14.
Does Kentucky win?
No, I don't think Kentucky wins, but I think they cover.
Tate?
Oh man,
That's a good question.
I think Kentucky can do it. I'm gonna go. I'm not a fence rider like Colin. Give me Kentucky
Can we get
to
the hot
ruin
takes
the
on?
Give me
dogs.
my. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Kentucky
Yeah.
over Georgia, ruining the undefeated streak, so that OU still has the longest winning streak.
Oh yeah, we need that. We need that big
Book
time.
it. Okay, number 13 Washington State is playing UCLA, and get this one: UCLA is a 3.5 point favorite.
Oh, really? Number 13 Washington State is 3.5 point dogs. Give me Washington State winning and covering. Obviously, they're going to cover if they win, but give me Washington State winning that one.
You said UCLA, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, UCLA is going to do it. Sorry, Colin. I don't know. I don't understand. The only
Hey.
thing Washington State's known for is that freaking flag at College Game Day, dog. It's always going to be that way.
I got Washington State on my teams to watch, so I got to pick them as covering the spread, or else I'm contradicting myself.
Okay, so now I got a couple of Texas OU over-unders that I wrote myself. So over or under OU having 1.5 turnovers,
OU forcing this or OU committing these?
like forcing them. Like OU
Okay.
makes Texas. Are they more than one or less than one?
Give me the over. I got them.
You think OU over
I
one
think
and a half?
Really?
they're forcing two turnovers.
Okay,
All right, get
Will.
more specific. How are they going to do it? Oh, I'll give you my answer in a second.
It's gonna be 2 picks.
Man, we may be seeing the birth of old Arch Manning if Quinn Ewers those 2 picks.
I mean, maybe. Or what's the other dude's name? Malik something.
Malik Murphy.
Right. What do you think, Will? You taking the over?
I'm gonna go under for sure, man.
Will's a freaking Texas homer, apparently.
He is a Texas homer. Ever since Danny Stutzman wouldn't take a video,
No. So listen, this is my philosophy on this as well, because I started betting on football games. Man, does that make it more interesting? My God. But so every time that I've bet, I haven't won yet. So that's a big part of the story. I should.
So fade Will, whatever.
Yes.
So
that is why I'm saying.
So you said Texas is going to win. You said Danny Stutzman was going to have a bad game, and you're taking the under. So OU wins.
The way I'm talking, man, OU's going to win the freaking national championship, dog. And Danny Stutzman's going to win the damn Heisman. Mark it.
All right. Over or under, wherever you're watching the game, 5.5 F-bombs dropped during the game.
Under. I'm
Yeah,
dropping 0.
I'm going under. I'm gonna be with my family, man.
So Crystal's not going to drop an F-bomb or two?
Oh, Crystal is
No,
dropping F bomb.
she'll say, the English
She
teacher
almost
alternative
dropped.
of fudge, or
Oh, I was about to say Chase Sorrells almost made her drop 5.5 F-bombs in
I'll have to
student
I'll have to
council
ask
one
her
year.
that
In her
I'll have to
defense,
ask her that one.
it's
Hey,
Chase
Oh yeah,
Sorrells.
I'll have
Chase
to.
Sorrells
Well,
is a menace.
oh, Chase roll, dude, he is, man. Hey, I'll have
Dude,
to
we need
get a
to get
clip.
Chase on the pod.
We do. That'd be great. I have a video though of mom actually saying it. She was taking a nap and I had an air horn and I got her with it and she screamed that son of a gun, man.
I can't say I blame her.
Yeah.
Okay, on the television, like the broadcast, over or under 4.5 times the announcers bring up Texas beating Bama this year.
Over.
How many times?
4.5.
4.5.
I don't know. 4.5 is a lot.
Well, that's why it's the spread, Colin.
Okay. I changed my answer. I say under. They'll say it 3 times.
No, wait, hold on. Are we saying like as the start of kickoff, or are we going like leading up to the game as
No,
well?
from the start of kickoff to the end.
And just to make it interesting, I'm gonna say over.
I think it's over. I think they'll just be like something like, "Oh, well, when they played Bama, they did this," or like going
Right.
back to the Bama game, Quinn Ewers just looked great, like that type of thing. Okay, last one. Well, last one, and then the OU Texas spread. Okay, over or under on any talks about either team going to the SEC, 8.5.
Over, dude. I got
That's
the
a lot
over.
though.
Dude,
8.5. Oh, dude, Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, is going to be there. They're going to mention
right.
that 3 or 4 times. They'll mention. Oh, dude, they're going to.
So are you
Does
taking
mention
the
of
over
like
Tate?
Yeah, I'll take the over on that
does
one too.
mention of like
Okay,
the Big 12 count too? Like
Like leaving it.
it being the last year, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, then over.
All right, and then that leaves number 3 Texas versus number 12 Oklahoma with the Texas Shorthorns, a 6.5-point favorite.
Will, you go first.
Will
Really?
already took the.
Will took Texas.
Yeah.
Is Texas gonna cover though? Or are they
Yeah,
just
he
gonna
said by a
win?
touchdown or 10 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got OU covering the spread.
And winning.
I got them covering and winning.
Oh man. Dude, them and Washington State are screwed, dog.
And that does it for your spread segment.
All right, I like it. I like it. We just got one more segment, and it's not going to take very long. So, this first question, we'll start with Tate and go to Will. Second question, we'll switch it around. So, I just need a yes or no answer. Yes or no, does the winner of the Red River rivalry on Saturday make it to the CFP?
Ooh, what a good question. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and raise that thing. But okay, I'm gonna just say no.
All right. Would either of you
Because
like to explain?
Nope,
yes,
just yes or no.
actually.
Shut up,
Okay, yes or
Will.
no,
Let's go.
yes or no. All right, Will. So pronunciation's gonna be horrible right here. Does I'll just say PJ. Will, you start? Does PJ have a coming out party on Saturday? Freshman defensive end.
Does he not even know who PJ is?
Probably not. Do you know who PJ is, Will? Number 34.
Get him off the pod.
Does Danny
Sorry,
Stutzman
man.
have a bad game? Yes or no?
Y'all call him what? Y'all talking about Danny Stutzman?
No, we're talking about PJ
No.
I don't know who that
Warrior.
is. Who is it? What's his name?
He was a 5-star defensive end that is a true freshman this year.
He's been getting a
And
lot
he's
more
been,
snaps.
Has
the
he?
past 2 games, he's been like doing some crazy, freaky
Okay.
Mhm.
DN stuff.
I gotcha.
So he's just
Well,
asking, is he going to have a coming out party?
it'd be awesome if you did, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Sooner hater.
What do you consider a coming out party?
Over, we'll say,
Over 2
put the,
sacks?
no, half a sack.
Half?
One sack. He doesn't have any sacks
Uh,
on the year.
yes, he does.
No, he
He needs
doesn't.
at least
Yes, he
2.
does.
Okay, we'll say 2 sacks, tackle for loss, like 4 tackles.
Gosh, no.
No. Okay.
Going on.
Respect it. I respect it. All right. Well, unless y'all have anything else, that's all I got. So, Bill, anything you want to add? Want to tell us how your intramural game went tonight?
I mean, I hit 2 jacks. Same old, man.
Same old, same old.
Hey, this is
Did
the
you
pre-Barry Bonds era too, man. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. After about a year of drinking some brews, man, I'll be hitting them balls pretty dang far.
Well,
Hey,
maybe you
dude,
can win some softball championships too.
I doubt it. I don't know, man. These people at ECU, they just don't get it.
They don't get it.
No, they don't, dude. I've heard though at OU and like OSU, those things get intense, man.
Hey, we won the intramural football championship at East Central.
Yeah, we did as well. I want to win basketball. Did you play basketball there as well? Did they let was it just a students league or did they let outsiders come in?
No, it was just a students league.
Okay, because last year we were one of the favorites to win it. And do you know? I know, Colin. You know Kobe Burgess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Kobe Burgess State? He was from Ada. He was really good. Well,
Yeah.
he had a little team full of like a bunch of grown men, and their kids showed up to the games, and they killed everybody. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Cold world.
but no, hey, we need to once Colin retires finally, once he realizes it's okay being an adult now. Uh, we need to get a team together and play something before we get too old.
Little throwback flag football again.
Oh yeah, and then we can have Tate play with us, and I'll get like Reed to come play too.
I like our odds. All right. Well, it's fun talking to you guys as always.
Hey, Tuck Texas, man.
Yep. Texas sucks. Beat Texas. All of those.
Danny Stutzman, I love you. I hope for the best, boss.
All right. That's it for us. Stay classy.